Imagine this: humans suddenly disappear from Earth. No more people, no more cities, no more traffic jams. The world is completely empty. So, when would the last light go out? How long would it take for the entire planet to fall into complete darkness? It turns out, the answer is more complicated than you'd think. Let's find out. First, let's lay out the situation. All humans are gone. No one left to flip switches, maintain power plants, or fix electrical grids. It's just the Earth, the Sun, and whatever systems we've set up over the years. So what happens to the lights we've left behind? How long would it take before our cities, our houses, and all of our gadgets lose power? Well, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that would influence how long the lights stay on after humanity disappears. It's not just about flipping a switch off and waiting. No, there's science, physics, and even some fun little twists in this scenario. Immediate power shutdown. The first thing to note is that most lights would go out almost immediately once people are gone. Most electrical grids depend on human maintenance. Without anyone around to keep things running, the systems would quickly fall apart. Power stations need to be constantly monitored. Gas plants, nuclear reactors, and hydroelectric dams are all kept in check by a team of engineers and technicians. Take them away, and these power plants would start to break down. Some would immediately stop working because they rely on people to maintain the pressure in the systems, while others might continue for a short time, like backup generators that keep things going for a few hours or days. But we're talking about large-scale power failure. Without humans to tend to these plants, we'd see things shut down fast. The last lights in major cities would flicker out in a few hours, and this is mainly because most electrical systems need regular human input to stay on. The long-term effects of power loss. Now, let's say everything was running smoothly, and for some reason, we're able to keep the lights on for a bit longer. What happens next? Well, the real problem comes with the fuel supply. Most electrical grids rely on fuel, gas, coal, or nuclear energy. These resources don't last forever. Coal plants need to be fed fuel, and while they can run for a while, eventually, the supply runs out or gets disrupted. Nuclear plants are a bit more tricky. While they can generate power for a long time, they're not self-sustaining. The reactors need constant human oversight to make sure everything is safe. Without anyone keeping an eye on them, things would start to go bad pretty quickly. In fact, after a few months, some of these nuclear plants would start to overheat, and we could face radiation leaks or worse. So, even though nuclear plants could technically keep lights on for months, they're ticking time bombs once humanity is gone. Power outages would become more frequent as this process plays out. The sun's role. But here's the cool part: the sun's still up there, and it's not going anywhere. You might think, okay, without humans, does that mean the Earth goes completely dark? Not quite. The sunlight is going to keep hitting the Earth, but without the electrical infrastructure to turn that sunlight into energy or distribute it, it'll be hard to keep anything running. However, one thing we've got going for us is solar power. Solar panels, those little rectangular pieces of tech that turn sunlight into electricity, will continue to function for a long time after humans disappear. In fact, in remote locations or places where solar energy was already part of the system, you could see small lights powered by solar energy staying on for years, or maybe even decades. But, once the panels start to degrade due to weather, without human intervention to repair or replace them, they'll stop generating power. Mechanical failure and nature's reclaiming. Let's take a moment to talk about what happens when machines just stop working. If you've ever had a light bulb burn out or your phone die, you know that things break over time. But when humans aren't around to fix them, things start to deteriorate faster. Dust, rain, wind, and even animals would begin to slowly dismantle the remnants of our electrical systems. Electrical wires would rust, break, and get overrun by plant life, while bulbs would burn out and remain unchanging. Eventually, cities and homes would crumble, and the very idea of artificial light would be lost to history. At some point, maybe within a century, maybe longer, nature would completely reclaim everything. Trees would sprout through sidewalks, buildings would fall, and electrical infrastructure would be buried under dirt, leaving the earth in a permanent, total state of darkness. So, here's the big reveal: the last light would go out around 2 to 3 years after humanity disappeared, at least in cities or places with modern electricity. If we're talking about remote areas that relied on solar power or had natural light sources, you could stretch that timeline to decades. But in the grand scheme of things, our world would be in the dark within a couple of years, and nothing we've created would be left standing long after that. But, before you start getting all gloomy about it, there's a fun twist here: the stars. Sure, our cities would fall silent, but the stars in the night sky, they're still going to shine. The moon's still there. Maybe without humans, the Earth will be able to see the stars without the annoying glow of streetlights. And while we won't be around to witness it, the universe will keep going, just without us. In conclusion, if all humans vanished, the lights wouldn't stay on long. From our power plants shutting down to solar panels losing efficiency and the inevitable decay of everything we built, the Earth would quickly return to darkness. But don't despair. The stars, the sun, and nature would remain, until the last bulb burns out. If you've ever wondered about more crazy, what-if, scenarios, don't forget to hit that like button. And, if you want to stay on top of more science-packed adventures, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video. Drop a comment down below with your thoughts. When do you think the last light would go out, and what would you miss most about our world? See you next time.